What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to go over the 5 top things that I like to do in every studio mix. So let's jump into it. Alright, so the first thing I like to do in every single mix is use at least 2 different types of reverb. Now this could be plate reverb, it could be a convolution reverb, it could be a simulated acoustic reverb. But what I like to do is use at least 2 different types, because then you get a really interesting, rich and dynamic reverb tail. When you have multiple reverbs going on, you don't want to just use one type of reverb, because then it just kind of gets boring and does not sound as good. So that's the first tip. Use at least 2 different types of reverb. Now moving on to number 2. This is something that I learned from a very famous mixing engineer named Jack Joseph Poo. And he says that whenever you're mixing a song, you want to leave space for the vocals. So when you're mixing your drums, your guitars, your synths, your whatever, you want to make sure that you're leaving some headroom for the vocals. Because if you smash everything super hard right from the beginning, then there's nowhere for the vocals to go. They're gonna get lost in the mix. So always leave some headroom for the vocals. This is actually a really big problem in modern music nowadays. You know, you listen to songs sometimes, and it's just like, wall of sound. Wall of sound, and then the vocals come in and they're just under the mix. They're not sitting on top of it. So again, when you're mixing your drums, your guitars, your synths, whatever, leave some headroom for the vocals. Alright, now moving on to number 3. Number 3 is to automate your faders. Now, you don't want to just leave your faders, all the way up once you bring them up. You want to automate them so that they swell or they duck or they do something. If you just leave them, all the way up, it's going to get boring. It's going to get predictable and people are going to lose interest in the mix. So make sure you're automating your faders. Now the 4th thing I like to do in every mix is use parallel compression on at least one of the instruments. So what you do with parallel compression is you take the compressed signal and you blend it with the uncompressed signal. And this adds a really cool, punchy, and aggressive quality to whatever instrument you're using it on. It also adds harmonics, and it just makes it sound really, really good. There's a lot of modern songs nowadays that use parallel compression on the vocals, and it just adds a lot of weight and thickness to the vocal tone. So again, try using parallel compression in your mixes. And then finally, the 5th thing I like to do in every mix is use a multi-band compressor. Now, you can also use a regular compressor, but a multi-band compressor is just a lot more dynamic, a lot more flexible. You can really do a lot more with it. So I like to use a multi-band compressor on my vocals, or maybe one of my guitar tracks, or my drum bus, something like that. And I just use it to add a little bit more glue to the mix, a little bit more punchiness, a little bit more presence. And again, it's just a lot more dynamic than using a regular compressor. So try using a multi-band compressor in your mixes. So those are the 5 things that I like to do in every single mix. Now of course, there's a million different things you can do to improve your mix, but these are just the 5 things that I find most important. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel.